Hello. Welcome to the Hard Reset. What just happened?
Hey, baby. I'm hung like a Vienna sausage.
Oh, no.
There's something wrong with people in Indiana.
No.
Okay, enough about that silliness.
Okay. All right.
Let's get on topics here.
Yeah.
All right. So, have you heard about this guy in Russia that had committed suicide? He had he dug his own grave and then went about stabbing himself like 32 times or something crazy like that. I guess
Yeah.
he was a pedophile or something like that, so he just couldn't live with himself anymore. It was really,
Yeah.
it
I can
was
think
really
of,
weird.
100 different ways that would be way, way less time consuming.
But there was an eyewitness who, and that's how he got verified as a pedophile. I guess the guy's best friend had they were out drinking one day or something, or having a partying up or whatever, and I don't know what he was doing with his buddy's friend, but so he was going through his phone and found pictures of his buddy and his daughter. So
Okay. Yeah.
that
I
kind of
see where it's going, but
that kind of made him upset a little bit.
yeah, I would imagine.
But I mean, unfortunately, now the guy that witnessed all this happen, I mean, he got lucky. They're not charging him with murder. I mean, they know he didn't do it. That this guy dug his own grave and stabbed himself on his own.
Yeah, because that's totally
But-
plausible, but go ahead.
Unfortunately, what they are going to charge him with is invoking suicide.
So they're going to charge him with like assisting the dude?
Yeah, I mean, they're
suicide?
just saying that you invoked
I
this
mean,
guy to commit
am I,
suicide.
am I the only one that didn't get smacked in the face with the fact that he shivved this dude over his daughter and then dug a grave and then somehow managed to convince the authorities that this guy stabbed himself multiple times and buried himself?
Well, allegedly, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was there. He saw
Allegedly.
he saw it all go down. So.
Well, unfortunately, that would fly in Russia. Unfortunately, it would not fly in the United States.
That's kind of a shame.
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like pedophiles would probably commit suicide all the time, given
Yeah.
the bad acts that they commit.
Yeah. I mean,
That's just my opinion, though. I mean,
and nowadays there's pedophiles that are basically they are social justice warriors that are saying that they're being discriminated against because they are in fact
oh yeah,
pedophiles.
I remember. Yeah, there's like this whole entire society where they're like, it should not be against the law for me to be into underage children.
Yeah.
That is insane. And how do you come out and say something public like that and not dig your own grave?
Yeah, I mean,
It's just-
obviously there's places that still don't fly. I mean, I ran across a guy in my profession, stopped him or whatever, talked to him. He was a homeless guy, and talked to him for a minute, and he explained the fact that he was ran out of town in a place in like southern Georgia. I won't say the name of the. It was a small town in southern
Right.
Georgia, and the sheriff down there obviously had a serious problem with pedophiles, convicted pedophiles. This is not alleged. This is convicted pedophiles. They have the same thing they do everywhere else where you have to register and whatnot.
Right.
But I'm not sure if this was
What do
some
you
kind of
actually
violation of
register
his
as?
rights.
Do you have to register as a sex offender, or is it actual a
yeah,
child molester,
sex
or
offender. I guess
how
you
is
got
it?
you got to register as a sex offender.
I mean, that could be anything. You could be a rapist, but
But
I mean,
there's stipulations though, depending on your crimes. Whether you should stay away from, schools, certain distance from schools, whatnot. Well, part of this deal with the sheriff or whatever is he would basically have them have a sign in their yard. They would make them have a giant sign in their yard that would say that they were, a pedophile or they were, convicted sex offender or whatever.
Right.
Stay back 1,000 feet or whatever it is.
Well, I mean, people should know. I mean, if you're walking your kids, you're letting your kids ride their bike up and down.
I mean,
the
I
road.
agree. I mean, I think that's since been they're not allowed to do that anymore. But this was several years back, and this sheriff made it his personal mission to run this guy out of town, which is why apparently he is now homeless. Which, I mean, it is what it is.
I don't think that's why he's homeless. I think he's homeless because,
Yeah.
he did bad things. It's
Yeah.
not because somebody ran him out of town.
Well, I mean, if you heard the whole story, it was this guy, and I'm saying it lightly when I say the sheriff made it this personal mission for this guy. I mean, we are talking the Deep South, right? And again, nothing against. I got plenty of friends in the Deep South, and but you know, some of that stuff does, even to this day, does not go well over in certain communities, small communities, because they're a little tighter down there. You know, they still kind of a little bit more old school, and they, you know, if somebody moves into their community and I guess is not up to their community standards, then apparently elected officials like the sheriff decides that it's his personal responsibility to make sure that that guy's no longer a part of the community. And so he puts pressure on them.
Why would
whether it be
not?
like, you know, traffic stops for every little thing that the dude does, or what, basically just, I mean, dare I say, it's probably harassment. And I mean, like real harassment.
Yeah, I guess it would be harassment.
But it was
if
definitely
he's not doing
targeted.
anything wrong.
Yeah, it was definitely targeted because of his his conviction as a sex offender, which, I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
yeah, I guess
nobody
the bad
made you
part
do
about
that.
is, yeah,
So-
but if you got convicted for it and you, I guess, served the allotted amount of time that they consider to be payment for it. I don't know how to even word that, but yeah, I guess if you've now been released,
I mean,
then,
there's rare occasions where, you know, a parent got mad and the kid was like 18 and he was dating like a 17-year-old girl. And they were fine with it all up until one day, you know, they got mad at the kid because he didn't bring her home on time.
Right. Yeah.
And then they filed charges against it. And now you have an 18-year-old kid that is a convicted sex offender because he's been charged with, you know, he's been charged with the actual statute of he's
Right.
18, he's an adult. You know, the girl was 17, even though she was maybe 17 and 9 months or something. She's still considered a juvenile. And so now you have that dude that's an 18-year-old going into college or whatever, and from now until forever, the conviction of a sex offender will stay. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's extenuating circumstances is sometimes that's kind of like a legal term, extenuating circumstances. Right. I think that needs to be looked at for certain things. But yeah, I don't have any chill when it comes to true, you know, I guess the word true, but convicted sex offenders that they out and out, it's a, you know, an adult with a child or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is.
I won't share my personal feelings of exactly what they needed to do with them, but they need to do something with them.
No, I think that was actually a really good point about, because I've never even thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that guy that, I don't know, if I catch you stealing something, I feel like you should probably get your hand lobbed off.
Yeah.
And if you do it again, now you've got no hands, so now you ain't got to worry about it. Likewise with sex offenders. But yeah, I see what you're saying about
it's a stigma. You know, it's a stigma involved in it, and it's like it's an everlasting stigma. And I definitely think that that's one of those things that, I mean, you know, I've been in my career field for, you know, the better part of almost 14 years now or something.
Right.
And so I've seen a lot of like kind of outside the norm. There's run of the mill. You broke certain laws, you murder somebody all day long, you know, go to jail forever. But there's, you know, even things like murder, there's